So, hello everyone. Now we are here to have another session on Ashtanga Yoga and Physiotherapy. And let me introduce our speaker today. In fact, she need not to have any introduction, but let's welcome Dr. Nilima Patel, ma'am. She is PhD in Rehabilitation and Alternative Medicine. She is fellow of uh, Indian Association of Physiotherapists. She was the principal and HOD, Government College of Physiotherapy, Faculty of Medicine, Baroda. And she has also authored book Yoga and Rehabilitation, and a special appreciation letter received from Honorable Narendra Modi ji. For that, the same. Then he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat in 2008, and she has been awarded for many more awards, and few are here to name it. She has been awarded for Rashtriya Gaurav Award. She is awarded for Physio Ratna Award twice time, do bar मिला उन्हें, and Experience Excellence Award, Guide Pride of Gujarat Award, Significant Contribution Award, sixth time in field of physiotherapy. She has been also awarded for Lifetime Achievement Award and others Bhyaktitva Puraskar, and many more. We cannot name all the awards she has been received, and she is a very eminent and known people in field of physiotherapy. She has done a lot of work on yoga and physiotherapy, and she is currently working as a honorary director of physiotherapy, Parul University. Conducted more than 150 workshop on physio, yoga, and rehabilitation across the India on the invitation. And she need not introduction if we start introducing her. She's a very eminent and experienced person in our physiotherapy field. So it will take a day to introduce her. So let me thank Dr. Nilima ma'am to accept our invitation to have a session here, a live session on Rehabilitation Sciences Group. Before we start your session on Ashtanga Yoga and Physiotherapy, I would request everyone to please subscribe the channel, YouTube channel Rehabilitation Sciences Group, so you keep getting updated on further sessions. There are many other sessions are lined up in national and international. So with this note, I'll take a break and I'll over to Nilima ma'am further to present her presentation. So Nilima ma'am, please uh, you can start your session.
Thank you, Dr. Pandey, for such a nice introduction. Good evening to one and all in this wonderful webinar organized by Rehabilitation Science Group. It's an immense pleasure for me to share my views on Ashtangyoga and physiotherapy. I just recall way back in 2004-5, while I started this concept of physio, I did definitely face some resistance from the fraternity because it was an upgoing science and people felt that ma'am is talking about this old traditional science of yoga. But then after the book got released and people came into the concept of physiotherapy and yoga, things became more easy for me. I would like to further specify over here that how I got inspired into this concept of Ashtang Yoga in field of physiotherapy. I always followed Bhagavad Gita's two quotations, two quotes, aphorisms. The first is Yog Karmesu Kaushalam, skill in your work, dedication in your work is yoga. And the second is Samatvam Yog Uchyate, that is maintaining balance in all adverse situations, that is yoga. And that's how the whole concept of yoga study started. I came across Sage Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga principles, which definitely focused on the first two principles of Ashtanga Yoga, made me understand the foundation of all types of psychosomatic illnesses. The first aphorism of Sage Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga says, Ataha Yoga Anushasanam, that is, yoga is self discipline. And the second aphorism specifies Yog Chitvritti Nirodh, that is, restraining your senses, trying to be moderate in each and every activity of day to day living and taking responsibility of our day to day living. And that's how the concept of Ashtangyoga emerged into the field of physiotherapy. So, here I would like to share my presentation into this great science of Ashtangyoga. Dr. Pandey, can you hear me? Hello, Dr. Pandey? Hello, Dr. Pandey, can you hear me? Hello.
Please go back, ma'am.
Yes, I'm coming into it.
Yes.
It
Yes,
specifies
ma'am.
kind of
Please open. Please open, ma'am.
which one?
It will work. Which one you last open?
This is what.
Yes, yes. Open it. Open it. Please click OK.
It's not the
Now,
PPTX.
yeah,
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
what we are going to present, ma'am,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Fine.
Now you can
Right.
make it horizontal, ma'am, please.
Yes. Done.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
And
This is Ashtang Yoga is just like a tree with all its branches. And definitely, if you just see, the first important aspect of Ashtanga Yoga is Yama, that is social discipline, and Niyam is individual discipline. So these two are said to be the foundation of Ashtanga Yoga ladder. Indebted to my Guruji, who inspired and blessed me to go along with science and spirituality in the rehabilitation program. So I am blessed to be a yoga student because it is the yoga student in me which made me understand how can I use my scientific principles in healing of the patients and every aspect of rehab programs. And that's how the concept of physio evolved for health and wellness, science and spirituality to enrich, empower, and nurture the rehabilitation program. My dear students, physio fraternities, and my peer groups, let us understand why psychology and sociology subject the foundation in physiotherapy. In first year itself, we have this subject of psychology and sociology because psychosocial factors profoundly affect a patient's ability to recover. And mental health status has been shown to be one of the most important predictors of physical health. Foundation of our course that was made by WHO definitely have mentioned that they have been inspired by the Indian traditional science of yoga. What was in, what is in, and what will always be in physiotherapy? Definitely the answer is exercise. It is an asset to fitness and wellness. All of us know that. Furthermore, I would like to specify why has physiotherapy program focused on exercise therapy? We physios are called as movement scientists, and that's how the nomenclature is now being changed from exercise therapy to human movement science 1, 2, and 3. We also have a subject of biomechanics, need to be introspected, biomechanics, application of principles of mechanics on this biological system. I've and highlighted the word human. Humor is the structure made up of flesh and skeleton, and the being within makes us the person that we are. So, if this being is understood, then and then this humor is going to function the way it is. And that's how it is very, very important to understand the concept of spirit and mind for functioning of the body. Are we really aware of the meaning of exercise? Because anywhere and everywhere you ask, everyone focuses exercise means हाथ पैर हिलाओ, ऊपर नीचे करो, दौड़ो. But the literal meaning of word exercise is to unlock. X is out and earth is a short form of our share means a lock. To exercise means to unlock. And so we need to unlock six dimensions to go ahead for our health and wellness. So when we say physical exercise, it is the physical unlocking when we have tightness and stiffness and rigidity and movement problem. We use the word physical exercise. But have you all heard the word mental unlocking? It is very, very important. कभी कभी कहा जाता है कि मगज में ताले लगे हुए थे क्या? So this is what we need to understand, mental unlocking, and that is by relaxation and by breath awareness. Then we have also heard the terminology social exercise. Communication is one of the best way to have social unlocking. The fourth is intellectual unlocking. कभी कभी सुना है कि बुद्धि क्या घास खाने गई थी, बुद्धि में ताले लगे थे, अपनी नहीं सोच सकते हैं. These are some words we have used. So education is more important than technical way of instructions and prescription. That is why we have in physiotherapy go for education programs, go for guideline programs, and above all is spiritual exercise. Because when a person suffers with any type of ailments or disorders or dysfunctions, definitely the person's self-esteem goes down, the self-image loses, and that's how the rehab program takes more time. So uplifting the spirit of the person is what Ashtangyoga ladder has always focused. And that's how yoga is a holistic approach. It is WHOLIST, whole mind, body, and spirit all together. And that's how one can go for very good program for rehabilitation. What yoga is not? It is not a form or type of exercise. It is not a gymnastic or acrobatic skill. This is the period of pandemic that everyone is talking about all types of yoga postures. We need to understand what yoga is. It is neither an alternative therapy, which everyone calls it as an alternative therapy, but yoga is not an alternative therapy. So, what is yoga? It is a special type of exercise through mind regulation. It is a means and a measure to achieve positive health. It is to be experienced and felt and not to be experimented and proved. I feel very pained when people compare. I have gone for comparative study between pranayama and breathing exercise for COPD patients. Yoga is an authentic, established science. Breathing is too different than yogic breathing, pranayama, and it is an adjunct therapy. Yoga is a way of life. You have to walk along the path. If you just say योग करो diabetes चला जाएगा, योग करो back pain चला जाएगा, it's not possible. You have to understand the principles of yoga. You have to evaluate a person thoroughly and give the guidelines, which is what Ashtang Yoga has explained. So yoga is connectivity. Yoga is being happy at each and every moment of life. And when I talk of yoga in healthcare, it acts as a metaphor. It is an adjunct therapy for all psychosomatic disorders because it unveils the curtain of ignorance and facilitates mental and muscular relaxation at all levels, which is the main goal that we all follow for our rehab programs. Relaxation is the key element. And furthermore, we are said to be in a very nice healing profession, and we need to have compassion. So yoga eliminates compassion fatigue and eliminates spiritual dimension in all healthcare approaches. And because I'm a physiotherapist, I'm proud to be a physiotherapist. I always say yoga is not to stand on one's head, but it is to stand on one's feet firmly and face life with all its pressures, stresses, tensions, whether they are mental and physical, because yoga is to convert your potential energy into kinetic form. And when can that happen? When we understand yoga as self discipline. This is what is the Ashtang Yoga ladder. If you go from the left upside yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. These are the 8 limbs of Ashtangyoga ladder, which sage Patanjali has explained, and it is only focusing on how to live life skillfully and in a balanced way. So the first two principles, yam is social discipline and niyam is individual discipline. We are said to be social animals. We are civilized person of civilized society. So 5 types of ethics that has been explained by Sage Patanjali. Niyam is ahimsa, that is non-violence in thought, speech, and action when we are dealing with our patients. Satya, stand by truth. One who stands by truth is fearless, and one who is fearless definitely is going to have very good control on autonomic nervous system and is going to experience wellness always. Asteya is sense of responsibility and non-stealing. We need to take the responsibility for whatever suffering we have. Brahmacharya is unity, according to Sage Patanjali, and aparigraha is non-greediness, being simple and generous as much as possible. So yam is the foundation of uh, Ashtangyoga ladder, which focuses on social discipline. And this era of pandemic, definitely we all need to be socially disciplined and follow the norms. Then the second step of Ashtangyoga is niyam, that is individual discipline, which also has 5 principles. First is shaucha. Shauchalaya word has come from this, that is cleanliness, mental before physical cleanliness. Santosh, contentment. Be contented with whatever we have. We are going to take care of our heart rate, pulse rate, respiratory, all vitals will be taken care of automatically. Tapas is sacrifice for others, living for others. And Ashtang Yoga says, one good deed a day, you invite health for one full month. Swadhyay is self-study, self-introspection, self-analysis. Very, very important before we go to sleep. If we go for self-introspection, the sleep problems are not going to be there because most of the problems are because of insomnia. And Ishwar Pranida, it is surrender to Almighty. Ultimately, we need to have faith in the principles of uh, designed by Lord. So Yam is social discipline, and we need to have good communication skill. We need to be happy and make others. Humor is very, very important in rehab programs, in our therapy sessions. We need to be at peace with our own self. Then and then we can spread the message of peace and definitely being connected to society. And individual discipline, when I talk in my physiotherapy program, is the biological clock to be followed. We need to have the principle of early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise. Sound sleep 6 to 8 hours, and food acts like medicine. Moderation in food. It is not what you are eating, it is how you are eating, with what emotions you are eating, that matters. And Ashtang Yoga says people who can digest rage, anger, and insult can digest anything in life and always be happy. The third step of Ashtanga Yoga ladder is Yoga Asana. Please understand this word. It is Yoga Asana. They are psychophysical postures. It is, I feel really very pained when people show all type of stretches and acrobatic skills and they call it as Yoga Asanas. Each and every asana is prefixed by a name. As for example, when you say Parvatasana, Parvat is a mountain. So be like a mountain, be generous. Mountain gives shelter. Mountain does not retain anything. Mountain is for stability. Mountain is for giving a message. Slow and steady wins the race. Mountain, the base is always broad, have broad outlook in life. And if we have this feeling, automatically Parvatasana definitely acts for immunity boosting, for pain management, for cardiac functions. So every asana needs to be experienced experientially and not just the technical placements of the limb, because it's just like a tip of an iceberg story. Asana is the 10%. Rest of the 90% is the inner self, which Ashtanga Yoga has explained. So, what is this yoga posture? As a physiotherapist, we always think calisthenic exercise, aerobic, fitness, power building, or mobility and strength. It is summation of every aspect, because callus means grace. So, if any asana practiced gracefully and with proper understanding, it definitely makes the body more supple and takes care of all the other systems of the body. When all asanas are practiced with breath awareness, it automatically becomes an aerobic program. If the person is guided with biomechanical principles and exercise therapy protocols, it becomes a fitness program. And definitely, if a person is made to practice this yoga posture with the concept of self respect and esteem, it naturally builds power within, commands respect. The confidence that a person loses because of the problem is regained, and hence mobility and strength naturally is a byproduct of all this. And so, why yoga postures in physiotherapy? Because all yoga postures definitely focus on posture alignment, and all postures definitely are sensory motor feedback mechanism. Today only I have uploaded my video on postural control. All the three mechanisms are important to maintain a posture: the visual, the vestibular, and the somatosensory. And each and every yoga posture has abundance to convey into it. Flexibility, mind and body both. If the mind is flexible, the body is going to be flexible, because it is ultimately the mind that commands the body to move. And definitely it's a very good strengthening program, because strengthens the mind, the skeletal muscles, and definitely respiratory and cardiovascular and digestive muscles also. So good mind, good mechanics, and good functioning. Pranayam is the fourth step of Ashtangyoga ladder, which everyone is practicing breathing exercises today. Inhale from here, exhale from here, and but friends, pranayam, pran is the vital force of energy, and shwas is what is the breath. So people are doing shvasayam and they are calling it as pranayam. So pran acts as a pulmonary feeder. We need to have good reservoir of oxygen into the body, which definitely helps in good healing and repair. And shwas acts as a vacuum cleaner. We need to understand all this. So when I talk of pranayam, I always remember Sri Ravi Shankarji's statement, no breath, no life. People say everyone knows about it. What is new into it? But immediately he has added, the first is NO, breath, no life. And the second statement is KNOW, breath, KNOW, life. So if you know what and how you are breathing, you'll know what life is. And that is why he has always focused on breath awareness. So when I go for my breathing programs to my patients, I always say breathe in faith, breathe out fear, breathe in relaxation, breathe out tension, breathe in as much as possible positivity, breathe out hostility. And that's how the emotional experience that a person feels definitely takes care of the rate, rhythm, and depth of breathing. So please, as physios, do understand this technicality is not pranayama breathing and yogic breathing. Yogic breathing is just not oxygen intake, but it is also intake of the neural energy from the cosmos, which definitely helps one to calm down and be poised and serene and accept the problem that he or she is facing with totality. The fifth step of Ashtanga Yoga ladder is restraining the senses, Yog, Chit, Vritti, Nirodh. The three monkeys that have been explained always by Mahatma Gandhi ji has conveyed a lot. He brought us freedom with all the principles of Ashtanga Yoga ladder. If you go to Gandhiji's book on My Experiment with Truth, he has explained thoroughly on what Ashtanga Yoga used to preach. So when I consider this Pratyahar as my physiotherapy program, I always talk on lifestyle modifications and risk factor control. So why we wait for everyone to I always educate my patient. Why you wait for a dietitian to plan your program? Why you wait for someone to give you instructions? Why you have to go to a counselor? Your body gives you signal. Understand that signal and modify your lifestyle thoroughly. And that is what there can be hours and hours to be conveyed in Pratyahar. But here in physiotherapy, when we go for all our ergonomic guidelines, it is one form of preaching Pratyahar. Dharana is the sixth step, which is said to be concentration. I have to decide for myself. And you are aware when we give exercise program to our patients, we tell them, think into the moment, concentrate into the moment. And concentration and attention go hand in hand. So learning and relearning becomes better. Then the seventh step of Ashtangyoga ladder is meditation. Dhyan is not a practice, but it is a continuous dynamic consciousness. When people say, I am practicing meditation for 10 minutes and 15 minutes, I lock myself into the room and I do this. Dhyan is to be meditation, and introspection is to be done at every moment of our wakefulness. I was one of a very good neurosurgeon had come to me with a very big diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. And he was advised from Mumbai that you should practice meditation. So he came to me, Madam, with this diagnosis, how can I practice meditation? I just asked him, how many surgeries you are performing in a day? He said, at least three as of now. I just asked him, how many minutes you take for one surgery? He said 20 to 30. I just told him, you are meditating for 1.5 to 2 hours every day, because while you are dealing with all these delicate areas of the body, your whole concentration and attention is on your patient's recovery. That is what is meditation, which I have understood. And that is what is introspection in thought, speech, and action, with due respect to all the types of meditation which has been marketed today. And with my physiotherapy workshops, which I conduct all across, I focus on three types of meditation techniques. One is said to be Maun Dhyan. Sit in silence for 20 minutes and introspect, self talk. It really gives you answer. The second I focus is on Mantra Dhyan. Man is mind, Tra is freedom. Any mantra of your faith, your religion, just enchant those mantras with belief, faith, and understanding. इट इज मंत्र को रटना नहीं है जो अब अभी किया जाता है. Understand each and every meaning of mantra, because each and every mantra is exhalation. You there have in workshops, I definitely make people understand how it is improving the expiratory function, how mantra is improving. Explain as you exhale negativity, as you exhale the retained carbon dioxide, definitely you will be able to inhale good quality oxygen and neural energy. And the third type of meditation, which I usually focus for patient, is Shvasan Dhyan, breath watching meditation. We can give them comfortable lying position. May the case be of women's health or a stroke patient or a patient of neck pain, back pain. We all are aware about this relaxed position. And then 15 to 20 minutes of um, enchanting of either mantra or some suggestions or some empowering thoughts. And that's how we can help our patients to divert their attention from those painful, disturbing stimuli. And then eighth step of Ashtanga Yoga ladder is Samadhi, which Patanjali has called it as illumination. So if these seven steps are climbed with understanding and with faith, definitely we are going to be illuminated souls. But as we are professionals, we want to be well, we want to be happy, we would like to be functional. And functional mobility is the main goal of physiotherapists. And that's how I integrated these two sciences of physiotherapy and yoga. As a physiotherapist, we need to assess, we need to evaluate, we need to go for thorough examination, follow ups, and then decide on all your postures and breathing programs. So, if one is self disciplined, one is going to definitely have good posture. Good posture definitely makes our breathing pattern, our rib cage to open up in all the three dimensions, the vertical, lateral, and anteroposterior, uh, facilitated good lung volumes. And that is how the energy channelization is going to happen, because we have inhaled neural energy. And that is how, if we have very good energy channelization, we can use this combination of physiotherapy and yoga science in all our neuromuscular disorders. I worked out on so many reflex inhibiting postures for strokes, for cerebral palsy. I worked out on normal postural mechanisms for Parkinson patients, for multiple sclerosis, for spinal injury cases. It also helps in cardiovascular disorders, how pratyahar, dharana, and dhyan, how they can work for cardiorespiratory functions. Musculoskeletal, my PhD is on physiotherapy and yoga in tension myositis syndrome. More than 5,000 case studies And for every, and we all have seen the movie Piku. Every motion के पीछे एक emotion होता है, whether the muscles are gastric muscles or rectal muscles or our skeletal muscles. Emotions have a very big role to play in pain syndromes management. Women's health, the two diaphragms, the respiratory diaphragm and the pelvic diaphragm, each and every yoga posture strengthens these two diaphragms, which yoga science has explained it as mool bandh, as the pelvic floor strength and pelvic diaphragm, and Uddiyana Bandh is what is, we call it as isometric abdominal activity. And the third is Jalandhar Bandh, which is the isometric neck chin lock. When these three locks are taken care of, each and every issues related with women are taken care of, right from menarche to menopause. For pediatric conditions, my students who have followed me, they are all aware how we work for our cerebral palsy children with proper evaluations and ergonomic guidelines. Geriatric disorders, chair yoke for all geriatric population does wonders, but with proper understanding. Burns and cancer ailments also, we have been using the pranayam techniques and meditation techniques to accept the problem that the person has gone through, because there is a great metaphysical cause behind the not accidental burns but suicidal burns and cancer patients, and definitely sports fitness. So I would recommend everyone make yoga your nature, because when you exercise spirituality, spirituality gives you strength, that inner strength to manage difficult situations and keep you ever smiling. So these are some of the references. Thank you so much. So for healthy living and to make our patients healthy and mobilized for functional mobility, help them to avoid stress, help them to maintain the weight, encourage them to go for regular unlocking of all the 6 dimensions which I mentioned, and not only physical therapy sessions. Maintain yourself hydrated, very good sound sleep, 6 to 8 hours, and definitely a balanced diet. Thank you for the patient listening. Over to you, Dr. Pandey. Hello, Dr. Pandey.
I'm listening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for such a wonderful lecture. And hopefully everyone will be getting benefited with this lecture. And there were few questions here, ma'am, people have asked.
Yes.
I would ask you if you can answer those questions.
I will make an effort. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So there was somebody asking how many repetitions we should do while doing pranayama.
There has been, again, as I said, yoga is one to one, pranayam practice is one to one. One should never go by quantitative numbers when we are giving pranayam practice, and that also specifically to the patient, because we have to have an idea about their respiratory rate, their heart rate, their blood pressure, their ABG studies, at the same time their emotional situation, because as I told you, pranayam is just not going for breathing program. It is, please understand, see, in physiotherapy, we have understood inhalation, exhalation, 1:2 ratio. Pranayam is 1:4:2. And the great essence of pranayam is the kumbhak, that is the pause that is there in between. So unless we have good inhalation and exhalation ratio 1:2, we should not incorporate kumbhak, because that can lead to negative channelization of energy for that particular patient. Pranayam has no side effects. Pranayam is an step, but that person needs to be properly assessed. Yeah, I'm talking for the patient's protocol, right? Regarding a normal person and for fitness program, you can definitely go for 8 to 12 sessions. It all again depends what type of pranayam are you practicing. Hatha Yoga has explained 8 types of pranayam: Shitli, Sitkari, Brahmri, Surya Bedan, Brasrika, Plavini, right? Ujjayi. So what type of pranayam are you giving to that patient? It will all depend on that. But the essence of pranayam is kumbhak, the pause. Inhalation and exhalation, Purak and Rechak takes care of your ventilatory function. But the kumbhak, the pause, takes care of your respiratory function, and it needs to be given, the practice needs to be given with thorough understanding and knowledge.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And there was somebody was asking how to concentrate while meditation, like what to do, and while doing meditation, what we should think and how we can concentrate.
Yes, many people have come up with so many types of meditative techniques. I did explain what I have understood meditation according to Sage Patanjali's Ashtangyoga. Being introspective to every thought, speech, and action is itself a meditation, right? It is a conscious effort that needs to be practiced all 24 hours. But if that is not possible, people talk about mindful meditation, which is doing wonders in relaxation programs. So it is, people say it is a state of thoughtlessness. But when you are suffering with an ailment, when you are suffering with a problem, and you ask that person कि अभी आप सब सोचना बंद कर दो और आप बस अपना ध्यान इस तरफ दो, as I told you about my patient, one of my patient, that make them understand about their role, their duty, and what uh, protocol that they are following. So giving them this understanding, giving them some good programs, making them follow some mantras of their faith, making them introspect in silence, making them aware of their breath itself becomes a very nice meditative technique in our patients program. But for general fitness, definitely 20 to 30 minutes of state of it is a state of trance. First it is the body position, body stability, then you go for breath awareness, then you go for visualization, and then you finally go for state of trance. It's not that easy that people think about, but we can gradually take our patients into it.
Ma'am, can you tell us? You said that how to hold breath, and there is an importance in breath holding and breath concentration practice. So, can you tell us how much time we should hold breath
That is what
while
I
doing it?
just I did mention. Pranayam ratio is 1 is to 4 is to 2. Inhalation is 1. So suppose if you're inhaling for 5 counts, you should have kumbhak for 20 counts
Okay.
and your exhalation for 10 counts. But many times all of us are aware, we all tell swas lo, swas baro, or nikal do. Exhalation is to be practiced so slowly and intricately. So unless this ratio of inhalation and exhalation is reached by 1 is to 2 without any discomfort, then and then kumbhak has to be added. And that is how pranayam practice is to be given. But for a beginner, we can go for the ratio 1 is to 1 is to 2. You can add kumbhak. So if it is 5 inhalation, 5 counts, pause, and 10 exhalation. But exhalation is a very important aspect. And specifically when we are dealing with COPD patients, all obstructive lung disorders, when we are going for cardiac rehab programs, if we make them go for pause without understanding, we can invite trouble. So in that case, we can practice Purak and Rechak, inhalation and exhalation. And that's what Sage Patanjali has said. When you inhale and pause, that is Antar Kumbhak. When you exhale and pause, that is Baya Kumbhak. So but suppose if you're dealing with a restrictive lung disorders, inhalation, pause, but again the exhalation has to have ratio 1 is to 2. So it is not to be randomly advised, it is 1 to 1. And that's why I really feel pain when the comparative studies of 30 patients are done of COPDs with pranayam, 30 patients with breathing. You cannot do that. We need to respect individuality because yoga focuses on individuality.
Right, man. A very, very important aspect you um, uh, explained. And ma'am, is it necessary to do yoga in the morning itself, or any time in a day we can do yoga?
Yeah, again, sorry for me to correct yourself. Yoga is a practice. Asana is a state of being and not doing. Because of time constraints, I was not able to explain the real meaning of asana that Sage Patanjali has given. What does Sage Patanjali says? All these asana names of the asanas are from Hatha Yoga. Sage Patanjali says Sthir Sukham Asanam. The position of stability and comfort is asana. Further, he has added Prayatna Shaithilyam. That position should be held effortlessly. And further, he added, when can you have a stable, effortless position? When prasanna chit, when you are happy from within. And when can all these three be there? When Ishwar Pranidhan, Ananta Samaptibhyam, when you have focused and surrendered to Almighty. So, asan practice can be done at any time if we have this concept of mind, body, and spirit. But all the technical asanas which are being explained by Hatha Yoga, it is always said morning practices are always good because when you go for asana practice, the way Hatha Yogis have explained, B.K. Iyengar ji has explained on Hatha Yoga. So definitely you should have an empty stomach for at least 4 to 6 hours before you practice all certain vigorous asanas. But definitely there are meditative postures, that are relaxation postures, which can be practiced even after 2 hours of your food intake. That's why I'm trying to explain. Please don't go to the technical aspects of all asanas. If you are following technically, then rigidity in all these aspects have to be followed. But morning is said to be the best time for asana practice because 4 to 6 hours you need to have fasting.
Yes, right, ma'am. So what I understood, that empty stomach is important. It
Yes.
is not gas. Yes, I hope the
Vi-
audience will
vi-
have the.
Vigorous asana practice, but we cannot go for vigorous asana practice for our patients. That
Okay,
is
right.
what we need to biomechanically assess the patient's situation, and they based on that we have to go for modified asanas. No, please don't go for technical asanas. Many places I have heard 5 yoga postures to relieve back pain, 5 yoga postures to relieve neck pain. If who would preach all this when people who really don't know there are so many reasons for back pain? How can you blindly advocate 5 postures here and there? No, as a physio, we should not advise the quantitative factor. We should go for qualitative programs.
That's very important, ma'am. Thank you. And some of physios are asking that what kind of yoga you can suggest for diabetes and spinal cord injury if their patients want to do.
Yes, I was very lucky enough. I was invited by Diabetic Association of Baroda to talk on physio in diabetes prevention and management. And as I said, uh, all the 8 step ladder, all the 7 step ladder, which I've explained, needs to be practiced for diabetes prevention and management. Disciplined lifestyle. शुगर नहीं लेना है, शुगर नहीं लेना है, शुगर नहीं लेना है, वो स्ट्रेस से जीने से थोड़ा शुगर खा के खुश रहना ज्यादा अच्छा है. That is what I always say. So discipline is the first thing as per Ashtang Yoga, discipline in thought, speech, and action. Coming to yoga postures, definitely we are aware that pancreas regulation is autonomic control, right? We are aware the sugar level is not maintained externally, it is maintained by our autonomic control and endocrine system to this exocrine gland of pancreas. So it is regulated lifestyle. You can advise them more of meditative postures and relaxation postures. सब लोग बोलते हैं कि फॉरवर्ड बेंड करने से इसको मालिश मिलता है, या बैकवर्ड बेंड करने से स्वादुपिंड को ये मिलता है. दैट इज द एनाटॉमिकल एस्पेक्ट, but the physiological aspect is only through the experiential aspect of the asana. Emotions need to be understood, emotions need to be calmed down, and when all yoga postures explain with emotions, it helps. So Parvatasana can do wonders because that thought of Parvat makes the person more poised. So you have to again be very selective. But meditative postures and relaxation postures, yoga postures, have no contraindications for diabetes prevention and management. And for spinal injury patients, definitely the person is going to be mobilized. The ambulatory functions, if they are dependent either on a wheelchair or with the accessory aids, the upper limb postures focusing. Setu Bandha Asana is one of the best posture. You can help support the lower component, bridging muscle, right? We are aware, the bridge muscle, latissimus dorsi. So Setu Bandh, see the name Setu. Are you getting the point?
Yes, yes,
Setu
ma'am.
Bandha Asana was explained 2000 years back, which physiotherapy has called it as bridging.
Yeah.
So bridge posture works best, or bhujangasana, sarpasana. It all depends on the level of lesion. So I would not blindly suggest that these postures work best for this, because you need to know the level of lesion, the type of injury, whether it's complete or incomplete injury. Based on that, you can go for whether the person is flail paraplegic or a spastic paraplegic. Again, based on that, you can go for asana modification. But definitely, breathing protocols, pranayam, as I said, making them understand the inner potential that they have, charging their potential energy to move and to accept the situation, and making them again go for certain lifestyle modifications, pratyahar, as I specified, concentration approaches that will definitely help them have good reservoir of energy, and they will be able to be functional in family and society. So Ashtang Yoga is not technical, Dr. Pandey. Ashtang Yoga is training the mind, strengthening the spirit, definitely takes care of the body. And that is what I have understood. I'm not much for technical asanas without proper understanding. We need to understand each and every asana and then make them practice. Asana is a state of being and not doing, right? So one has to
Yes.
be in a asana. One does not do a asana. Always we should say, I'm practicing this asana. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट?
Yes,
आप
ma'am.
जब कहते हैं कि सुखासन, तो आप ऐसे नहीं बोलते हो कि मैं सुखासन में अभी सुखासन कर रहा हूं। आप क्या बोलते हैं? मैं सुखासन में हूं,
Me.
मैं हूं। So asana
Yes.
is a state of being, and it is always a poised mind can have. EMG studies have confirmed that when a person is in true state of asana, definitely there is a state of electric silence in all the anti-gravity muscles which are helping to maintain a posture, and it becomes a ligamentous support, and that is said to be the real practice of asana. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Asana is not to be practiced forcefully.
Yes. One last question, ma'am. Many of physios has a query that in physios हम लोग weight cuff dumbbells and therabands वगैरह use करते हैं कि strengthening के लिए. So, but in yoga there is no nothing such kind of thing. So, can we use yoga for strength and conditioning?
As I specified, what are yoga postures? They are combination of all five, provided you have selected a posture based on the BMR status, based on the BMI index, based on the sex of a person, male or female, whether the person is having some other comorbid situations. All these things have to be taken into consideration. There is so much of market going on for yoga for obesity, and yoga for obesity control, and yoga for obesity management, and yoga for as a cosmetic gadget. It's all if you definitely have inner strength and your autonomic functions are regulated, definitely all these things. And I always say it is more important to reduce mental obesity than physical obesity. We need to be physically conscious, we need to be physically toned up. But what is the message given by Ashtang Yoga? Zero figure with zero values in life has no meaning. Definitely, zero has a very big meaning. So it is more important to reduce mental obesity and have very good balanced life than go on with all types of unwise practices, whether they are fitness programs or gymming, or whether it is unwise practice of yogasanas.
Thank you, ma'am. We are really lucky to have you here on the session, and thank you from all team Rehabilitation Sciences Group. And we are really thankful that you gave us time and you taught us a lot of new things, and really it is going to help us in practice, and not only in practice. In fact, it is going to help ourselves uh, in particular also. So thank you, ma'am, once again, and on behalf of Rehabilitation Sciences, I would thank you
I would,
from really.
I would, I
Thank you.
would like to convey one message to all my dear physios and physio students. Please understand the Ashtanga Yoga ladder and just don't blindly follow the technical aspects of asana. Yoga is a way of life. Yoga is a way of right living. Yoga is self-discipline. And please don't have this misconcept that yoga has nothing to do with physiotherapy. Our whole foundation of physiotherapy course, which WHO has framed, because I come from the first college of degree college in India, MS University, and we had WHO teachers, and they have always focused. And when we were in first year, we all were made to go for yoga sessions compulsory by our director of physiotherapy that time. And 2 hours of practice was given. So please understand yoga and don't strictly follow yoga.
Thank you, madam. Thanks once again, and thanks to all participants for joining us. Thank you so much. We'll be coming back with many other sessions with the national and international faculty. And stay tuned.
Tomorrow
Please
is the
subscribe our
international
channel.
session by Dr. Silvario.
Yes, tomorrow we are going to have the session on Dr. Silvario from Switzerland, and he'll be talking about posture, how the tension is built up with the relationship of cranial muscles and facial muscles. So it is going to be very interesting lecture. So thanks you once again, ma'am, and thanks to all the participants. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank,
Thank you,
thank
ma'am.
you, dear. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Dr.
Thanks a lot.
Shagun.
Thank you.
Thank you.